Hi. This will be a quick and easy video. So before we get into it, I'm just going to get promotions out of the way real fast. Leave a like if you enjoy what you see, and leave a comment if you have any questions for me. And stay subscribed if you like my other videos, and I'll be posting in the future. So for today's video, I just want to let you guys know I will be gone for 2 weeks, or maybe taking a longer break, a hiatus, because I'm just going to be focusing on me solely and gonna just be working for my journey, purpose, etc. This is probably gonna be like a 2-minute video. I'm just trying to explain a couple things. So what I'm gonna leave you guys off with is some key improvements. So for a quick disclaimer, if you don't remember what key is energetic knowledge, is literally the energy form of all knowledge. So everyone has linked to it, everything has it. So how to improve it? It's through visualization, and you have to understand what dormant polarity basically is your key. So key has 3 different dormant dominant polarities. So it's spirituality, physicality, and mentality. So my key is based off of the mental. I'm a mental focused person. My brother's is a physical, because he is a physical oriented person. Most spiritual people, like tarot readers or like energy works or anything like of the sorts, will usually be spiritual oriented if they aren't like physically active or like mentally trying to improve, if that makes sense. Like you aren't physically trying to study and increase the brain itself, or being artistic / quote unquote creative. You'll be more intuitive and stuff like that. So a way to tell which one you are, except for just like meditating and asking key yourself, is by understanding the hobbies and goals and ideals you have yourself. So in the past, I always want to be a chemist, because I always wanted to be Spider-Man, to be fair, and I always wanted to make a formula that could turn me into a spider. Like not specific spider, but Spider-Man. And that realized that I was always focused on like physical and mental evolution, so that drove me to neuroscience instead, where I delve into like telekinetic abilities and like just psychic evolution in general, like the X-Men or evolutionary psychology. So delving into that, it made me realize that I am a more mental oriented based person. I focus more on the mental than I do the physical, yet I contribute to both equally. So I realized mine is more more mentally dominant, while my brother is a martial artist and a physical practitioner. Like he instructs me in martial arts and self-improvement entirely. He's a physically oriented one, and depending on your dominant polarity, gives off a different effect to key. So with physical, for me at least, it's more waterish and like pressure based, like actual force, like being pushed by nothing. But physical is more of body enhancement, like just increased strength output or physical sensory increase. For spiritual, it'll probably be more intuition based, more literal spirits like coming to you, is literally more spiritual based, energetic work and stuff like that. So do not be deterred if you have a physical dormant one, but you want to increase, like a physical dominant polarity, but you want to increase mentality, because key is all knowledge. So you're able to go into these different polarities and be able to increase them all equally or more than another. So, but when I'm saying when it's dominant, is basically meaning that's where your key stems off of. Like literally your dominant knowledge of your body would be one of these 3 categories. So I'm just letting you know. So how to upgrade it and increase this? Literally by doing physical oriented things, you increase the physical polarity. Doing meditation and mental work also increases the mental polarity. Doing spiritual work or just spiritual healing in general, like child work or shadow work, that increases the spiritual polarity. Wow, that is a huge ant. You see that thing? That is a giant ant. Here, let me get you down, bucko. Here. There you go. Have a good day, man. Alright, so what was I saying? Yeah. Since I'm a mental oriented one, I will aid in that one for right now. These kind of apply to all three categories if you piece together what you need to piece together. So for physical orientation, I took many of my key studies actually from like manhwas, which is Korean mangas, and or webtoons, for example, and based around cultivation, like what's it called, Return of the Blossoming Blade, Return of the Crazy Demon, and there was one more, I think it was Return of the Drifting Moon, Reaper of the Drifting Moon. All three of them really good stuff. I suggest checking them out if you didn't already. But for physically oriented people, how I usually do it is go into meditation and use my subconscious area, but not using my energetic area, as that will branch into the spiritual realm. I'm branching my own mental consciousness into the keys realm. So I'm able to, it's just more able to be honed to my mental and body through my mental. So how I do that, go into your nice little dark meditative state, of course. Then you want to call upon ki, like as if you're calling upon your own energy, to bring your own energetic realm, and let the ki bring you to its own habitat. Let it show you what its core is. As its knowledge of all, you can't choose what it looks like. It'll just show what it looks like to you. For me, naturally, it looks like a very bright ball. To be fair, like when it's all conglomerated into just one core, and it's not like looking at an x-ray of my body. I'll get into that afterwards, but it actually looks like just formless energy that tries to make a humanoid figure, but keeps switching. So it's like wispy smoke that makes a human, to be fair, just a human that could be a man or female. So I never choose specifically. It's just ki. But it can stay form if it wishes to, but that's its true form, just wispy smoke. So that's how I do it. It's really simple because the procedure to increase ki depends on what you're trying to increase, like physical, like energetic output, physical energetic output, or control with it, or better application with it. All this stuff you usually would ask the ki and discuss with it, like a second mind, because it will talk with you with how you wish to use it differently. So trust yourself and trust the ki that you're using and talking to. All right, and I believe this will be the last thing. So I told you can check out books and stuff like that for it, like cultivation-based books. Seriously, you climbed off my shoe to get back on my shoe. Okay. So the last thing when it comes to ki, visualization. How do you know when you actually improve something? Like I told you in a previous video, you kind of would just know. It kind of just feels like you can do more. Like one day you will feel like you can push a piece of paper with your mind, and then the next day it's just like, okay, but what about cardboard? You know, like, let's see if I can do it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it will kind of feel like the stage less than just all of a sudden got weaker. That makes sense. Make sure when doing like ki pushes or trying to use your energy, you determine what is the air and what is your actual energy. To determine that, you have to first obviously try if it's the air, and air is obviously created through kinetic energy, forceful movement. But with ki, you can either amplify that kinetic output, or you go slowly to not have your hand build kinetic energy and just shoot out ki. So it's just instead of, so it's you get enhanced by the air and amplify it with ki, or you just use your hand as a medium to propel ki out. So determine what you do and what sees fit. Understand that distance changes how much output you need to put for energy, and the material of the object you're trying to move also determines on how strong your ki has to be. So keep trying. And of course, I usually try with like cards first, like 1 card, 2 card, paper towels, cardboard boxes. There are many different things you can try. Just make sure, usually at first, like it's rather thin or hollow to not strain your mind or body so badly, or spirit. I don't actually know what spiritual drain does on the body, quote unquote, when it comes to like ki manipulation, because I've only seen physical orientation and mental orientation. I haven't seen spiritual orientation yet. So when doing ki and you're mentally oriented, at least for how I am, you would usually okay, let me give a story first back this up. So when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima this one time, I was trying to make my brain in my brain. Like, let me elaborate. So I was trying to make a physical manifestation or visualization of my actual brain by having my cells or neurons trace the actual brain and then replicate the image that it just created back to itself. So obviously that makes no fucking sense, but it made sense to me at the moment. At that time, it actually hurt badly to do that because it felt like my brain in front crushed like my lobe and started bleeding down my head to my teeth. It wasn't a great feeling whatsoever, and I did get a bloody nose like a few minutes after. So you do have a lot of mental strain when using ki to amplify like visualization or thought or manifestation you may have. So be careful, because it does bring mental strain, headaches, migraines. It could bring bloody noses and sometimes possibly internal bleeding. Do be very careful with what you do, and don't take yourself past limits that you should not just yet. Get a grasp of the limit you have already before trying to surpass it, because you need to understand what you're jumping in the first place. You can't jump a hurdle if you don't see the hurdle. So when doing physical orientated ones like body enhancement body enhancement is the best one, because that's the best one I can think of right now. So physically oriented body enhancement, that will always be physically oriented. Yet when you have like a different dominance polarity, like a mental one or spiritual one, that's where the command comes in. So if it was a spiritually oriented one but like physically based, then the intent will come from your spirit. And if it's mentally oriented, then the intent will come from mentality and actually like thought driven to be physically active. So let me give two different understandings of this. So when it's spiritually oriented, it will probably be more of a ki upgraded fight or flight. So if you were in a bad situation where you're actually getting chased by like the police or something, right? And you're not even an escaped convict, but you're just being chased, you would obviously flee. But when it's ki oriented, it's spiritually oriented ki, the ki would probably automatically increase your physical stats to go faster, to keep running, and more endurance, to have more stamina to continue out, like lasting these people chasing you. So if it's mentally oriented though, and it's fight or flee, right, you would probably choose where your ki is going to be implanted in. So instead of it just automatically kicking in, your own response will probably feel the drive of your ki building up, but you don't have it being used on anything yet. So as spiritually oriented would instantly make you start darting at like Mach 50, mental orientation would be, okay, I have the energy to make you go Mach 50, but are we trying to go Mach 50? Like, we can go Mach 32 instead and save that other 28, right? The 18 Machs. It's either rational usage or instinctual, intuitive usage. Physically active, that's just on fucking command. That's just truth. You just gotta use it. Physically oriented, honestly, I would probably have to talk with my brother more about it. I don't know much about it, but for how I perceive it and use it, it's mainly from just using body enhancement and trusting my body to protect me as well. So a skill that would probably be in physically oriented and ki driven ki is like Ultra Instinct, for example. Like, that would be a good one where you're able to move out of danger without your body or without your mind having to think about it. Like, it's having a radius around you basically, and your body reacts to something entering that field you make. I think that's all I need to cover. I'm not gonna edit this video because I don't want to. I hope you guys benefit from this video. Leave any comments or questions if you have any. Check the link in the description below if you want to join the community. And I hope you guys stay blessed, stay frosty. Love you guys, and I'll see y'all in 2 weeks or more.